bring him up before I talk about Elijah, but we have a senior who honestly has put more time in the gym than any player except maybe Buddy, but it's close. I've stopped in there at night, Saturday night, he's been in there shooting. And he's really gotten better. He's become a good, he's become better. And nobody has worked harder, and he's going to be good in basketball if he wants to someday. Shaun Belbey, come on up here.
How's everyone doing tonight? Thank you guys for coming. I have a long list of people I want to thank for making these past 5 years, the best years of my life, but I want to start out with my parents. My mom and dad are here in attendance tonight, which is no surprise to me at all. The past 5 years, they have been to as many home games as any other parent. You would think that driving 5 hours to Syracuse and back to the Jersey Shore to watch their son, sit on the bench would be boring. But throughout the years, they continued to make that trip as many times as I can remember, and I can't thank them enough for that. The past 5 years, after every home game, I would meet them back at their hotel, and we would have dinner. My first few years, they would often say, "Oh, another person came up to us at the game and said, 'Your son is so good, you must be so proud.'" They would look back confused at the person, and the person would say, "Oh, aren't you Trevor Cooney's parents?" Or, "Oh, aren't you Tyler Ladin's parents?" They would have to say, "No, we're Shaun Belbey's parents." The person would look back and say a disappointing "oh" sound. But that's because they would come to every single game. So the people who would see them would just assume that their son is someone who would play valuable minutes. But I never did, and they continued to come. I'm not sure if they will ever know how much that meant to me, and I'm not sure if I can ever thank them enough for that. I love you guys so much, and I'm happy you're still proud of me, even though you had to see the disappointment in those people's eyes when you had to tell them the truth. So thank you. I also want to thank my oldest brother Kevin for being here tonight. If it wasn't for him sneaking into Mike Hopkins' office his junior year of high school and asking to be manager, I'm not sure where I would be today. He is one of the smartest and hardest working people I know, and he continues to motivate me every single day. Unfortunately, my middle brother Ryan couldn't be here tonight, as law school has its demands, but he's Syracuse for life as well. I want to thank Coach Boeheim for giving me the privilege of being a part of his program these past 5 years. I've learned so much from you, and I'll never take that for granted. I don't know if you ever had a walk-on actually been on the team for 4 years, and then decide they want to do it again for an extra 5th year. But I'm so appreciative that you let me come back for this 5th year, so thank you. I remember when I started telling people I was coming back for a 5th year, and everyone started making fun of me, saying, "Why would you do that to yourself?" I would always say, "Why wouldn't I? I'm traveling the country in private planes and staying in the fanciest hotels. Why wouldn't I want to come back for a 5th year and start adult life?" I don't know if anyone has ever appreciated their time playing for you as a walk-on more than I have. I also want to thank you for putting me on scholarship these past 2 years. I'll never forget the day Coach Audrey came up to me and told me I was going to be on scholarship, and I'll never forget the phone call I made to my parents and telling them what had just happened and hearing their excitement in their voice. You have meant so much to my family and I over the past few years, and hopefully we can repay you this summer with winning a championship in Boeheim's Army. I want to thank Coach Audrey for everything he has done for me during my time here as well. I've learned so much about the game of basketball from you, and I can't thank you enough for that. We've spent a lot of time these past years watching film and talking about my plans for next year. I've always been so appreciative of all the advice you have given me. I'll always remember our shooting contest and joking about who is the better shooter. I also want to thank Coach G-Mac for everything he has done for me during my time at Syracuse. We weren't very close my freshman year, and I think it was because I wore number 3 without asking first. But ever since that summer, going into my sophomore year, our relationship has grown tremendously. I spent that entire summer in Syracuse working out with you, Frank, and Tyus at 6 a.m., and it was one of the best summers of my life. I remember even on the days when the managers would text me, "Hey Belbs, GMAC just wants Tyson Frank today, so sit this one out." I would get so mad and show up at the gym anyway and try and sneak in the workout. Ever since that summer, I was lucky enough to be able to work out with you every single day during the season in guard groups. I also want to thank you for letting me join so many of your pre-practice workouts. I know I wasn't invited more than half the time, but you let me work out anyway. You're one of the most knowledgeable basketball minds I've ever been around, and I've learned so much about the game from you. I've taken so many of your workouts and phrases into the workouts that I've ran, so I hope you don't mind. You have been such a great coach and mentor over these past 4 years, and I'm so appreciative of everything you've done for me. Lastly, Coach Griff, we haven't spent much time working out on the court together because you're always busy yelling at Brahma or Jesse or Ball, but I'm so thankful for everything you've done for me. You've always been extremely honest with me during practice about when I'm messing up or doing something good. And I know I've never admitted it, but I always steal your clothes and then go and buy the same things. I want to thank Brad and Ryan for everything they've done for me as well. I've spent more time in the weight room working out in the training room than anyone, even though I might not be hurt. I just like to go in there and mess around with Brad. I'll never forget our debates about which Belbey brother you like the most, Kevin or Ryan. But these two guys have helped me get through a lot of things on and off the court, and I can't thank them enough for that. I also want to thank Pete, Ben, Katie, Schwartz, Todd, Kelly, Jill, Officer Clary, Mark Wheeler, and everyone else who has helped me along the way. So thank you. We do a lot of team events like this throughout the year, the Miss Orange, the Boys and Girls Club at Drumlins, but I'm not going to lie, I've never really liked this event, and I'll tell you why. My freshman year in 2016, I was sitting in my seat, and Coach comes up to the microphone like he always does and starts talking about all the players and makes his joke one by one. Then he gets to me, and I quote, "Every day or night, you're in the office and you hear a ball bouncing, and there's always one guy out there, and it's Shaun Belbey. He's a freshman, and he's taken more shots and spent more time in the weight room than any guy on our team. You need that, Shaun. You're not very good." It's fun to watch a young guy do that. He does it every day. He's a great kid. We're happy to have him on our team. At first, I was pretty excited. A Hall of Fame coach just gave me credit for how hard I work and all the time I spend trying to help our program, until I looked down at my cell phone. Wow. Our team group chat was going crazy. Everyone was making fun of me saying, "Yo, Bells, coach just said you're a terrible player. How does that make you feel?" But just use your imagination, because there were a lot more explicit words in that group chat. Then I remember calling my parents after the event and telling them what had happened. They were ecstatic. My mom and dad were so happy that he acknowledged my work ethic and said I was a great kid. And I was so confused why they're happy. I said, "Mom, Dad, he told me I'm not very good." But they didn't care. After we hung up, I sat there and really thought about it. I was actually happy with what Coach said. I was only a freshman walk-on at the time, and at that point had never spoken one word to Coach. I didn't even think he knew my name. I knew he knew my last name, but that was only because of my oldest brother, Kevin. I had no idea he knew my first name. The next day of practice, Coach came up to me and laughed and said, "Belbey, you're not mad I said that stuff, right?" I laughed back and said, "Oh, no, definitely not." And he said, "Okay, good." And then I don't think we spoke again the rest of the season. My journey to Syracuse was very different from others. It actually started in October of 2009. I was in the 6th grade, and my parents picked my middle brother Ryan and I up from school and said, we're going to Syracuse to visit Kevin. It's family weekend." While I probably whined in the back of the car for 5 hours not wanting to go, I had no idea it would eventually lead me to being here today. I had no knowledge of Syracuse. I had no idea what it was or where it was. I just knew it was a college my oldest brother Kevin was a freshman at. When we first arrived, my parents told Ryan and I that we were going to Manley Fieldhouse to watch Kevin practice. I probably responded with some sassy remark about how he was only a manager. I didn't appreciate it at the time. So when we got to Manley Fieldhouse and started watching practice, but then there was another twist my parents forgot to mention. We had to watch practice from the hallway because Kevin didn't know we were coming and probably couldn't get us in anyway, as he was only a freshman manager. So we watched practice right from the big window behind the girls' court. I bet no one on the team even knows this besides from Buddy, but at the end of the girls' court, that whole wall used to be clear glass, and literally anyone could just come up and sit and watch practice. It's since been covered to probably prevent that from happening. An hour later, practice ended, and Scoop Jardine and Andy Rowan started getting shots up at the basket in front of that window. Andy would make about 10 or 12 in a row and then finally miss, while Scoop would make about 3 and 4, miss, and then start yelling at himself. For some reason, after one of his misses, he turned around, saw my family and I, and started screaming at us. We were so confused. He started yelling at us and pointed to the door to get into the Mellow Center. We had no idea what he was saying, so we just started walking that way. And then he ran over and let us in and greeted us like we were best friends. This is really how my journey to Syracuse began. He was so nice and told us to sit down wherever we wanted, and at that moment, I completely fell in love with Syracuse. College, still ways away, I had no idea where I was going to end up, but I always knew in the back of my mind I wanted to go to Syracuse. I always knew I wanted to go to Syracuse because of such a historic program run by such a historic coach. A few years later, as I was going to my freshman year of high school, my older brother Kevin became the head manager. He let me come up to Syracuse for a few weeks that summer and help him run workouts and do everything the managers did. It was one of the best few weeks of my life. Throughout those few weeks, I got close with Hop, Red, and GMAC, and I would stay in touch with them throughout my high school career. GMAC even came to watch me play in AAU going to my senior year of high school. But that story is just such a testament to Coach Boeheim and the staff. Obviously, they always recruit such good players, but they always recruit such good people that are such well-mannered and are just great kids. Thanks again to Coach Boeheim for this amazing opportunity. For the rest of my life, no matter where I go or what I do, I will always bleed orange. Now let's go win the ACC tournament. Thank you.
Yeah, I did think you were Kevin for 3 years. And you're much better today than you were then, as a player. You know, one more guy here, obviously.